Subscribe so you don't miss a single update. The official announcement hit the press like a thunderclap. The one royal who had, for decades, remained neutral during royal storms was revolution. Inside the palace, the mood turned volatile. Camilla, metaphorically and physically. Sources close to royal aides described her echoed through the private corridors of Clarence's house. Camilla wasn't just blindsided, desire to ensure the continuity of the crown and stability of the realm changed. Why now? And what role did Anne truly play in this monumental into full-blown chaos? Helicopters buzzed over Balmoral. Journalists analyzed and dissected in real time. Meanwhile, the public reaction fractured into Camilla, accusing the institution of betrayal and bias. But one thing united everyone, not just by one king, but by a sister, long underestimated. But this moment vision reveals a darker, more personal story. What the public never saw was Charles and Anne, guarded by loyalty and secrecy. Inside those walls, Anne quietly. A sudden uptick in private visits between King Charles and Princess, but unannounced trips, hushed conversations, and long walks away from cameras. Something monumental. Within those secluded chambers, the siblings wrestled with a question that silence. The rare absences explained away by vague briefings. But Anne knew position. The conversations took on a new tone, raw, urgent, and her brother plainly. The monarchy needed certainty. The people needed leadership. For the first time in decades, Charles leaned into her advice, not commit discussions. Her suggestions were sidelined. The king, once deeply reliant, she knew something was wrong. Meanwhile, Prince William entered the fold, quietly summoned. He understood the gravity immediately. But Meghan and Harry? Left entirely in the dark, sought unity, not chaos. And inviting the Sussexes into this fragile moment turned into obsession. She began probing staff, questioning schedules, confronting. They were planning something, and she was not a part of it. Her grip on power began to slip. For years, Anne had kept her distance. The sibling who did not seek glory or gossip. But even the most disciplined, but what haunted her most was not Charles's downfall, it was Diana's, aftermath of Diana's death. But in recent months, as the succession crisis drew closer, station held deep within the walls of Windsor, she finally said what she had swallowed for far too long. She wasn't speaking as a sister. She was speaking as the last guardian of the Queen's of the promise Diana had embodied, and of the moral debt the monarchy still owed the prince. The weight of memory of affairs, headlines, public fury, he broke. The tears came not for the present, but for the irreversible past. And how the monarchy, under Camilla's shadow, had begun to drift away from it needed. Stability, grace, trust. They had earned their place, and now Charles had to see it too. There was a long silence before he finally spoke. Camilla was preparing for a war she refused to lose. The moment Camilla learned the truth, a royal confrontation turned savage. And with Anne watching, Camilla realized, Charles avoiding her gaze, staff speaking in code, meetings she was decree. The succession plan had already been signed. The crown was pleading failed, the mask dropped. Camilla's words turned sharp. Charles didn't flinch. His expression was tired but firm. He had decision wasn't about love, it was about legacy. About preserving of timing, of William's strength, and the nation's need for stability. But Camilla, humiliated, erased. And when Anne entered the room, her rage igniting, Anne stood her ground, unshaken. She responded with cold clarity. Camilla realized this was never just about Charles. It was about the entire instance what had already been set in motion. But Charles said nothing more. He simply what happened next would only deepen the royal divide and drag William into the storm. Prince William had turned into a devastating curse. The conversation between father and son took place in transition was no longer a plan, it was now a command. William's, the magnitude of what he was being asked to carry, struck him harder than he'd expected. Generations before him? Could he bear the gaze of the world, the comparisons, but with conviction? She reminded him of his mother's dream that one day, her son monarch, it needed a moral compass. Someone who had known pain, and still chose enemies. Camilla waited for her moment, and intercepted him just as he was preparing to give Charles more time. She painted herself as the protector of his father's final and said firmly, "It's time for the monarchy to evolve." Camilla's fury. William stood alone, the future crown already resting on his shoulders, heavy in a darker light. A cache of private letters was leaked to the press just hours after the announcement. Was a calculated plan to reshape the monarchy in her image. One that now, an anonymous whistleblower delivered a bundle of letters to several leading British newspapers, far beyond support for her husband. She spoke candidly of integrating her children, more deeply veiled critiques, portraying them as obstacles to a more modern, inclusive Camilla had quietly nurtured while appearing publicly dutiful. The letters revealed months. Her vision for the future of the crown involved minimizing Anne's traditionalist influence. The hashtag number, #NotMyQueen, began trending within hours. Outraged intentions had been allowed such proximity to the throne. Commentators across net as a master manipulator, playing a long game. Inside the palace, the fallout